So what I'm describing over here is the third part of the design, which was a little hard to understand on paper. But ultimately, when you've got an open string and you're trying to do a mean onto an open string coming like this, what you have to do is you have to land in such a way that you minimize the impact of the nail on the open string, and as you join up with the plate so that it sounds smooth. In the middle of a concert, sometimes that can be hard to do because there's lights, there's distraction, and of course the overall pressure. So what this does is it helps to minimize that. And what it is a landing guide. First of all, you will notice that this nut is extremely short and very close to this plate. When the grooves are made, those grooves are taking this down almost to the plate. Immediately behind the groove, or behind this plane, the groove or the cut part immediately has to angle downwards. So what would happen is that if this is the nut like this, and this is the plate joining up over here, this groove which is coming here like this is stopping short of the plate a little bit so that it's not touching the plate. But if I was to observe the base of the groove, it goes like this, so that this part, this is if I was to cut open at the point of the groove, so that this part over here is as sharp a demarcator as your bridge normally is, because otherwise you can get some buzzing or some other unwanted effects over here. Now this, if you observe it from this angle, see how shallow that is and small, and the nut is joined up with that wood piece in the back. In terms of when you look at it, it appears that way, but in reality there is a very narrow gap over here that should be built. And what that narrow gap does is it allows your instrument to be as is without this interfering with your sound, just like so. It's like a normal sarod, but this piece comes and latches on here in the back. You can see the shape of the nut and these grooves is designed as follows. So when you're taking your mean, you would literally rest this portion of your nail against this groove, which starts here and ends just below that string. So when you go like this, it automatically lines it up with the string, plus this plane or this angle is perfect. So you just go I can literally close my eyes and do it without having to worry that the mean is going to go bad or not come out right. This piece has to have a slot or a slit over here. It doesn't need to be this big, it could even be this short. It's really not important. But ultimately the string needs to get all the way out and away from it so that it's not being interfered with. So you can see this sa string, for example, it goes in here. If it touches this too much, that's not good. So how do we do that? You can either have one solid piece like this, or you could potentially even make a piece like that, where there's the metal, there's the nut, there's the normal piece with the khuntis, and then over here you could just have one plate like this, which could be supported over here somehow, and let the strings, when they come through over here, not interfere with that piece. It's hard to do. If it can be done by Nabada, then that's fine. Otherwise, I built this piece and I can do that myself too. The key is that this nut, which is over here, needs to not have the final groove resting too high off of the sarod. It needs to be fairly close to the plate. End of video 3.